Hey, I'm Richard, and I am a product specialist for Filaments.ca, and this is your 5-Minute Friday. Hey, welcome to Filaments.ca's YouTube channel. I'm Richard, your product specialist, and today what we're going to talk about is a quick tip for you to get the best out of the filaments that you might be using from Filaments.ca. Now, if you've ever seen me on YouTube, you can find me over there at the first layer usually. I host that show and been doing so for the last 4.5 years. But what filament or what 5-Minute Friday is this is a chance for me to impart some of my wisdom and some of the things that I do to get ready before I start using a new material, or a material that I've already used but maybe bought a different color, or maybe I haven't bought it in a while and I just want to see if anything's changed. And that is a temperature tower. The easiest way to do a temperature tower is by far go ahead, and I'm going to take you to a website today, and it's by a good friend of mine, Michael Laws from Teaching Tech. He's all the way over in the land down under, and he's doing an amazing job with everything that he does for the community of 3D printing. And what he's done is he's created a calibration website, for lack of a better word, that will allow you to go and dial in all those settings on your 3D printer. Every material is different. If you're using PLA, ABS, PETG, nylon, TPU, whatever you're using to print your models in, or your products or what have you, what I always recommend to people is that they do what's called a temperature tower. And over on Michael's website, and we're going to take you over there and I'll show you exactly how to do this. A temperature tower is going to tell you exactly what you need to know in terms of the temperature, the best layer adhesion, what you're going for your environment. Every environment's different. For your environment, this is going to allow you to print more successfully. You get a lot less clogs because you're going to know just exactly what temperature that your printer needs to print that particular material at. And I do temperature towers all the time. They are an amazing little piece of calibration that you can do, and it doesn't cost you much in filament. It only costs you maybe about an hour in time, maybe a little bit more than that depending on the printer that you're using. As you can see, we've got a Prusa Mark 3S behind me here. We also have Creality CR10s, Ender 3s, Mingda printers. We've got Lotmax printers. We've got all kinds. Anycubic printers, we've got some of those as well here in my lab. So I get to play with all of these materials that you guys are using all the time. Now, I don't print a lot of nylon, but we are going to be getting into that on our 5-Minute Fridays as we go through. Let's jump over to the website and we'll show you exactly what to do and how we're going to go about doing a temperature tower and what the necessity for that is. And I'm going to show you some examples of temperature towers as well. All right, so here we are over on the Teaching Tech 3D printer calibration website. It's part of GitHub, so you can get it off the GitHub IO. I'm going to leave a link to this down in the description below, but you can see there are a ton of little calibrations to do here. And Michael has done a great job of putting this together. He's left it open source so that people can go ahead and just really try and make things as best they can for their current 3D printing setup. All right, so what we want to do is we want to go to temperature tuning, and you'll see that right here. Let's quickly go through some of the ones that we have here. We have frame check, there's PID auto tune, there's extruder E-steps calibration, first layer calibration, baseline prints, slicer flow calibration, stepper motor driver currents, temperature tuning, retraction tuning, speed and max flow tuning, acceleration tuning, linear advance, and XYZ steps calibration. Now, these are all great things to have and have at your disposal. I mean, he's done a great job of putting this whole website together. Now, the best part of this is that you can go ahead and just jump to wherever you need to. In our case, we're going to go to temperature tuning, and you want to read what the aim is. It's to set the ideal printing temperature for the hot end for a given filament. So when we say a given filament, we mean all those filaments that you use. If you're having trouble with a filament, and I've gotten some emails over the last few weeks where people have had some problems printing with PLA or with some of the other PETG filaments as well, where they're constantly changing the temperature to try and dial it in. The one temperature does not rule them all for all different filaments that are out there. So my high recommendation is to go to this site, have a look at it, fill in all of the necessary data. In our case, we've got a 0.4 nozzle. We're going to go with a 0.2 layer height. Any additional start G code, like if you want to prime your extruder, set your flow rate to compensate, that sort of thing, you can do that here. In our case, we don't have an ABL, which is an auto bed leveling sensor, but we do want to put in the max size of our bed. So in the case of my Creality, let's just go 310 by 310. Okay, and now that we've got that done, we have our bed temperature set to 60, which is perfectly fine for what we want to do. And you can see here he's got different segments: 210, 205, 200, 195, 190. Now you can certainly go ahead and try this out for yourself, and I recommend that you do. Once you've gotten this done, you can go ahead, and we're just going to slide down a little bit here to additional results, and all we need to do now is just hit this button where it says download G code. It's going to open up a file. You're going to save that temperature onto your system. Now this is already sliced for you. It is using Simplify 3D on the back end to slice it, but all you need to do is basically tell it what nozzle size you have, and it will spit out one of these nice little temperature towers. He's got a great little video here on how to interpret those results and how you can make them better. So my recommendation, as I said before, is you go ahead, you do this for each and every filament that you are buying. Now, it could be PLA, you could be using the Econofill PLA all the time, but different colors will be affected by the heat differently. So just be aware of that, some very simple caveats. So that's all there is to it. Well, I hope you found that informative, because we're going to try and do these 5-Minute Fridays every week or every couple of weeks. We hope that you'll come back. If you have any questions, you can always drop me an email at richard@filaments.ca. I'm your product specialist. I hope you've had a good time, and we'll see you here next time for another quick tip to get you up and running with your material from Filaments.ca. Till I see you next time.